but I've been excited about having you on. Now, this Quinnen Williams deal, though, like, first of all, he is a great player. You would stipulate to that, right? I mean, like,
I give you
that. Okay.
Yeah.
But where is your? It's just the value, and it's like the Cowboys had gotten all these picks together, so they got their own 2 first-round picks. Then the ones in the Parsons trade. So moving forward for the next 2 years, they had 4 first-round picks. And so your issue with this trade is, man, you've already started cutting into what you had amassed in this trade, and you just, from a value standpoint, don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, Quinnen Williams is actually more well-liked here maybe than Sauce is at this point. He's great, but where are the sacks this year? And he's 20, he's bats for 28, where, the stats might decline by the time he really hits his peak here. So here's the problem. I'm just going to pull back, Matt. It's the trade deadline. If you make a trade at the trade deadline, you think you're making the playoffs that year. It's not for the future. So everyone keeps telling me it's for 2026. But what are we doing here? You gave up a first-round pick and a second-round pick. I can't believe you would make a trade deadline deal that is not for this year, because it's just going to be hard to make the playoffs at 3-5-1. I have a question for you, like this, and I would ask you if you came on the show. Does Jerry Jones think that he can make the playoffs after this deal, or is this really about 2026? Because if that's the case, I don't know why you make the move now.
Well, the answer is Jerry. If the question was, is Jerry delusional? The answer is always yes. But Jerry loves a lost cause, and he always thinks he can, like, will a team to something, and he really thinks he let down his team in some different areas. And now he hates to admit this publicly, but he probably knows he screwed everybody over with the way, like, even the timing of the Micah thing. You can like the trade, you can like even the assets that came back, but it's like, okay, here's our new defense coordinator, Eberflus. Okay, spend your whole offseason thinking about how to use Micah Parsons, and then, like, 5 days before the seasons, you're not going to have him. And same thing with Schottenheimer. Welcome to being a first-time head coach. So you've got all of that happening and working against you. And but the truth of the matter is, see, Jerry always, the way his memory works is the way a lot of our memories work, which is scary. It's like we always want to remember, like, the greatest moments of our career. Like we always are thinking of the greatest, that all the 3 Super Bowls in Jerry's mind. Sometimes that's only like it was 30 seconds ago. Yeah. Like he's always kind of remember. So in doing this trade, he's thinking back about when he did the deal for Amari, and they were dead in the water, and he traded a first rounder for Amari Cooper, and he came in, and it did turn the season around, and they won the division. And so when he hits on things, in his mind, he thinks he can always do that. So no, he has not at all given up on this team, and he believes that by throwing them this life raft, because he said something like this the other night, like, by the way, I know you see me behind him during those interviews, and I
love it. I point it out all the time. Yeah, and
the reason I really need to have glasses on during those is I make the horrible faces. I squint. And I think people think, what's wrong with that guy? Like, that guy's having some issues. But it's me. I just squint, and my dad did it, and my sister does it, and I do it. But yeah, so anyway, that's how Jerry thinks about this. But I love I did want to get your perspective, because, like, you recognize that he's really good, and the people up there like him, and I'm being told we'll like him. He's kind of a funny guy. But to your point, no, it's not going to help them this season. They do have 3 talented defensive tackles now. But moving forward, I guess that's the only thing I could push back on you a little bit, is that for 2026 and 2027, I think I heard you say with Maggie, you were saying, well, they could still be really bad in 2027. And so I think you're thinking about those picks. I mean, I'm just saying Jerry and no Cowboys fan ever thinks like that. Their mindset is always, we're going to be in the running for the Super Bowl at that point. It's not like, oh, we're going to be bad and maybe that would be a great pick. There's always the thought. And the truth of the matter is, as long as you have Dak and CD, you're not going to bottom out. This team's not going to be bad. Like, they'll try to load up and have a go at this thing next year and in 2027. So
wait,
Jerry's,
yeah. Dak Prescott never gets hurt. I'm sorry. That's the thing. With those picks, there's an injury risk. What if Dak gets hurt?
Oh yeah. I mean, no, it certainly could happen. And the Jets are getting ready to use those picks to put themselves in position to finally solve the quarterback problem that they keep trying to solve. And so, yeah, I mean, but again, we can say that about any quarterback in the league. I mean, the great Lamar is much more elusive and younger, and he's 7 years or 5-6 years younger than Dak. But he got hurt this year, and their season went to tank, right? And they were 1-5. Now he's back, and they're kind of coming back. So we can say that about any quarterback. This guy is, in some ways, we measure quarterbacks differently. We used to say they were at their peak at 28. Now the peak, it's like every other position in the NFL, the peak is 28, right?
Yeah.
For NFL quarterbacks, it seems to get extended really to the 34, 35 years old. So I think Dak, if he is healthy, is going to continue to be good, and they could put something around him, and we'll see what they do with the rest of those picks. But I was interested because you and Bill Simmons and a couple of others came really strong, like Cowboys have lost their minds. Yeah. This is a really bad trade.
Yeah. Did you see the ESPN analytics story by Seth Walder? I don't know if you know Seth. He gave the Cowboys a hard and he didn't really explain why from an analytics standpoint. He just didn't think that Quinnen was going to be, at his age, worth the money that the Cowboys are going to pay him in the asset. My question, too, is could they have given him the lower of the first-round picks in 27? They agreed to give the higher of the two picks. So that's what worries me, too. I mean, what if Green Bay falters? I just worry. And 27 is this loaded draft. All these experts saying 26 is weak. 27 is awesome. So I just worry where that pick will end up. Worst case scenario, it's top 10.
Wait, you're thinking the owners and general managers around here put that kind of thought into it, like that they could have asked for the lower pick? I mean, think about what happened around here with Luka. All right, some of that because of the Cooper Flag thing has been glossed over a little bit, but Cooper Flag has not been in any great shape. So, by the way, when y'all are talking NBA, just know that in Mavs land, it's been a slow start for this rookie and a slow start for the team. And a lot of these NBA pundits and former players have egg on their face because they literally thought that this team could get Kyrie back and with Anthony Davis and make some kind of like literally be in the running for an NBA title. And so far, it's a complete mess. They are not. And your 76ers, for people that don't know, Andrew's got major Philadelphia connections, and he grew up tied to all those teams. Yeah. I mean, we at Baylor sent you one of the most explosive athletes of the past 20 years to come into an NBA draft, and that's VJ Edgecombe. And I think they had a tough loss maybe last night, but man, that has to be exciting, doesn't it, for 76ers fans?
Yeah, and it seems like they're going to move on from Embiid. I actually did raise the question, is there any chance if the Mavs got a mulligan, they wouldn't go Edgecombe over Flag? I mean, first of all, with the publicity, they were always going to go Flag. But is there any way Edgecombe is the better player compared to Cooper Flag? And I was also wanting to ask, I mean, the funny thing about basketball this season, there's one story and only one story I care about, and it's in San Antonio, not Dallas. So that season premiere, I was like, I knew immediately the first game, like, oh my God, this is Wemby's state. This is Wemby's league. So Cooper Flag feels like, nationally, I got to tell you, Matt, he feels like an afterthought.
Wow. Well, that's bad for a guy that was thought of as one of the great, almost sure thing, number one overall picks. I mean, the one thing I could say is this version of Wemby we were not seeing in those early days. We saw glimpses of it, But that opening night, what you're talking about, we saw a monster. We also saw a guy who, we'll see how he does from an injury standpoint, because generally 7'5", 7'6" humans don't always hold up consistently. But we have not seen anybody close to that. Dirk was Dirk, and he was one of the first guys we saw that could shoot the three and do all the things he could do, but he was not doing crossovers and taking people off the dribble out at the 3-point line. This is when we tried to make, what's his name, the old Knicks player into the unicorn, Porzingis. This is the unicorn. This guy, we have seen the unicorn. Now, what you pray is that Cooper just kind of, he just grows into this, and he's everything you need him to be. And he's a great, defender, finisher, turns into a really good 3-point shooter. I don't know, man. You're right. Right now you can't watch Edgecombe without going, dang it, man. Yeah. I wish we had that. Even the Wizards watching Trey Johnson. At some point, first of all, why are they bringing him off the bench? That kid can fill it up like crazy. By the way, he's from my neighborhood. Oh, he took our local high school team where my daughter went to the state title. So keep your eye on. He played at University of Texas. But come on,
the Wizards.
It's horrific. But I'm just saying, some of these teams, we thought of that with the Spurs a couple of years ago. The Spurs are so freaking lucky because it's like they spent 1 year out in the wilderness. They had to be bad for a year. With the 76ers, you had to go through that horrible moment, and the poor guy that took them through it didn't even get to see it through to the end. And then the guy that was supposed to be the savior right now is on the outs, like you said, Embiid. How hilarious is that? Is that you wait, you do a long-term, you do an extension, and Embiid's supposed to save you, and it's freaking Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, these two guards, explosive guards that are the future of that organization. And it happens sometimes.
I've given up on Embiid. It's been so frustrating. The process has not gotten the Sixers to the Eastern Conference Finals once. And the East is weak. That's the thing, too. I think I'm here in New York. The Knicks could come out of this conference because it's not a strong conference. The West has a lot of its talented players. So, maybe the Sixers even have a shot. But I was actually talking about this earlier today. It relates to the Jets. The Jets are going full process. I love it for the Jets. The Sixers I think it failed. I don't think the process worked because, Embiid is technically there. He's never going to be the 1A on a championship team. He just doesn't have it in him. So I'm over the Embiid experiment. And we'll see if the Jets get their version of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. But I'm all about the process. I love tanking. That's why the Cowboys, by the way, they trade Micah Parsons and they're doing this smart rebuild. But it felt like, everyone said that his picks were burning a hole in his pocket. Where's the patience? Where's the –
Yeah. Twice you've had great moments where you froze for a second, unfortunately. But I like that. Scotty, our headline from today's interview with Perloff is I love tanking. I want that to be the headline and in quotes. That's what we lead with. Perloff and I are both writers, both frustrated writers at heart. It is weird, isn't it, Andrew? When you stop writing and when that's what's given you any platform or any radio show or any reason to be on TV or anything, it was our writing. It's very weird to get away. I haven't written in a while, and I still, when I tell people, they say, "What do you do?" And I find myself saying I'm a sports writer. Usually I don't want to get into it too much, but I still identify as a sports writer.
Well,
do you find yourself doing that?
Yeah, definitely. I do work for Athlon Sports, so I still get to write. But Matt, you were on in Dallas, in such a big show. People know you as a radio person too, and they definitely know me as a radio person. That's funny, the balance that you always introduce yourself as a sports writer. Yeah. But I never thought of you as just a sports writer too, because let's face it, dude, you can talk.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes as an interviewer, I end up talking too much. But
I remember I've seen you. I mean, people, I don't know if your viewers see it. I've seen you. You don't even know this. I've watched you interview Romo and the Cowboys through the years because you were often the first question in at camp and stuff. I don't think you even knew me that well at the time, but yeah, you're a reporter by definition. Like the way you operate. So it's different. You're right. It's totally different from radio. Even more than me, I'm a multimedia star. When you look like this, Matt, I mean, let's face it, it's the looks that have been getting me by.
I always thought even you were like eternally youthful, but you went gray early, and it was an interesting mix because you were someone that was always going to have the best sneakers. Yeah. And I don't know if you're bohemian really or anything like that, but you certainly were a good fit in Brooklyn just because you knew, I mean, that was your world and you knew the proper jeans and everything to wear, but you were also a huge sports guy. Some of these guys like at The Athletic now that are doing those podcasts and stuff, they're very nice. I mean, nothing against them, but it's like so analytics driven that it's just like, my gosh, how are people listening to this? It's like, so I think you and I, we knew analytics was coming, and it's not like we tried to learn it, but we can't do it. We can't just sit there and that can't be what we talk about constantly.
Well, since I wear glasses, I tell people, Matt, that I'm really into analytics, but I don't even know what they are, to be honest. Honestly, no one's ever called me out. I tell everyone, I'm into analytics. No one's like, well, prove it. No one's going to say that. So just do like me. Just say, analytics. They're not, that coach isn't using analytics enough. Because it's really, when people say analytics, they really mean fourth down. That's all they're talking about.
Oh, man, I love doing this. Hey, Scotty, by the way, did you want to ask Andrew anything while we had him? I mean, Scotty's a big Perloff fan.
Yeah.
Jump on here, Scotty, if you have anything. Scotty may have.
I'm editing our next segment. What's up, McLovin?
What's up, dude?
Long time fan, man. The Dan Patrick Show has not been the same since you left, sir.
Oh, it's still great. But I love that you emailed me. You said, and asked permission to call me McLovin. Most people just call me McLovin. But you know what's funny? And Matt, you might think it's funny. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a big McLovin fan. I always have to check. I'm like, are you sure you mean me or do you mean Christopher Mintz-Plasse from the movie Superbad? So I always have to check.
We've only gotten a singular comment on YouTube today, and it was indeed, I thought McLovin was a character in a movie called Superbad.
Yeah, no, that's why. And if McLovin was if I was the original McLovin, I would have sold T-shirts and hats. But there's always an epic McLovin over my shoulder. So that's why we call it the Maggie and Perloff Show, because let's face it, McLovin and Superbad was pretty cool too.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And wait, did Dan give that to you? Like, I don't even remember the origin of that.
There's a lot of mystery around that. There was a SI.com column where somebody said Perloff looks like McLovin's uncle underneath in the comment section. And Dan read that. I think he immediately dropped the uncle. And Dan's from the TV world, and he can't remember anyone's name. No idea. I worked with him about 2 years, and I don't think he could remember my name. But Dan is in a different circle. But he just went McLovin. It's kind of like a TV thing, and then it stuck. And now till the end of time. And I have a good nickname on my own. Everyone growing up called me Pearl. Last name Perloff, Pearl. Like Pearl is cool, like Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Yeah.
McLovin, it works, but not quite as cool.
Yeah, I always thought that with a good buddy like you, and then even having met Paul, that I would someday be on, the Dan Patrick Show, and you guys, Dan had such a love for Tim Cowlishaw, who I did the radio show with, that I could never get on. He would only bring Cowlishaw on, so we never could break the barrier. But I like being on the. I like being on the, Maggie and Pearl show. I enjoy that. And
well, Dan asked about you the other day. Actually, he texted me. He said, "Can you text Matt Mosley and see if he can get me Ed Werder's number?"
That's good. That's I like it. That sounds about right. All right. Yes, Werner or Cowboys, never Mosley. Hey, thank you. I'm glad we got that figured out.
Sorry about the tech problems. Sure it was on my end, bud.
Yeah, it most certainly was. Tell Maggie, give Maggie what's up, and man, great to be with you. And I'm going to come to New York soon, and I'm going to come up there probably around Christmas time, and I'll give you a call. Maybe we can get out, and maybe we can watch some Baylor. Maybe we can watch some Baylor basketball. All right.
Love it, dude. Yeah, I want to see the next VJ Edgecombe. Let's go.
There he goes, Andrew Perloff on the Matt Mosley show. So.